84 of Nerd to Know Basis over here on Phoenix 92.5 FM. This is Lisa, also known as Straight Outta Canto, and I am joined tonight by...
Hey, I'm finally back. It's
hey!
Brin.
Hey, Brin, welcome
back. Cian O'Callaghan here, thrilled to be back as well after a little bit of an unexpected holiday.
And Darragh here, welcome back, Cian.
And it's Kev.
You never left.
Hey, Kev.
I've always been here.
Like Stan Lee cannot leave my
Kev is like
Kev
is like the constant of always. It's like I just know he's going to be there all the time. It's great.
I don't pay rent.
I don't pay rent. I'd say
rights.
If anyone hasn't seen the show that me and Lisa did on Halloween, that was super fun too. So check it out.
Oh man, yeah, no, the Treehouse of Horror.
I tuned in for a little bit when I couldn't. It was a blast from what I heard.
Oh
it's such a good idea. Like fair play. Like also the way we managed to do it and didn't get hit with a copyright strike. That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win. The whole time I was like, this is gonna go down. This is gonna go down. This is gonna go down. And it didn't. So.
Dan Castellaneta is gonna find your house.
That's okay. I'm like here. I need to read all these scripts from Earthworm Jim, and then he'll run away. So it's fine.
Your woman who played Bart Simpson has liked a few of my Instagram posts. I'm really hoping it's not a bot that runs. Yeah. Way back in the...
Why?
I don't know. I'm assuming it must be bots because her and the woman who plays Kyle's mom both liked a few of my posts, and I was like, I checked it was them. It's like, that's a bit random. There must be like robots running their accounts or something, just liking different things and different demographics or something like that.
Yeah, it's like when you find in your stories celebrities and you're like, there's no way Alice Cooper is liking my post about a sandwich I had at lunch.
You'd be surprised, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, although I love the level of respect Cian has. He's like, you're one that plays Bart Simpson, and then the lady that plays Carol. It's like, well,
I have a
Cian respects only one hustle.
Exactly, just one, no others.
Well, see, now we're going to find out if it was actually them because hopefully they'll be listening.
Well, like
and
ardent
Cartwright
fan
will
of
come
the
to your
show.
house and fight you.
I just hope that like if it was bots, I hope that like the real lady who plays Kyle's mom doesn't find out because I hear that she's quite the you know what?
Exactly. You know what?
Oh yeah. Say more things. Take the heat off me, Brin. Go on.
Yeah.
Guys, have you
Tea.
have you seen this Xbox thing? The Xbox came out apparently this week.
Yeah,
I've
I've seen a
something
few.
about it, yeah.
And I'm just like, it was funny because Kotaku did a review where they didn't talk about the console at all. They just talked about the way it had too many holes and it triggered her. It's like,
What?
yeah. That was my like introduction to finding out.
How dare this thing have proper area intake and outtake?
Yeah, I swear, like it's on Kotaku where you can just like literally read her review and she doesn't talk about anything but the fact that the air holes trigger her because it's too many. It's that weird thing, where people are afraid of holes.
Oh,
And I'm just like,
yeah.
oh wow. One, I didn't know this was coming out, and two, I still don't know anything about the console. So
That's the one review I heard of it was literally just like, it's fine.
I don't know why people
Like,
are so
it is
surprised.
exactly as people have expected, basically. It's like, yeah, runs 4K. It's an Xbox.
It's definitely an Xbox.
It's definitely an
Be
Xbox.
700 quid, please.
Game Pass,
Literally, it's
it works.
like, you could play Outer Worlds, but now it's shiny.
Yeah.
It turns on, it turns off, and it does everything in between. 5 stars.
But here's the thing: it's only taken me 5, 6, 7 years to get around to the PS4 properly. I'm like, I'm fine. I don't really need. There's nothing here I need. People are like, oh, I can't wait to get my PlayStation 5, and I'm like, why? What are you going to play? There's no games.
Oh, get in line. The Nintendo Switch is the first console I got since the PSP, the first PSP, and it was a gift.
But the Switch makes sense. But the Switch makes sense at least. It has games.
Yeah.
It's like there's stuff
They're
to
not
do on it.
good, but they're still there.
There.
Don't forget that at launch you had Breath of the Wild, admittedly, and 1-2 Switch, and that was it.
Yeah, but at launch though of the Xbox, you get nothing.
Yeah, it's fair.
Like,
No, I'm
it's
not
like
saying
this-
Xbox are better. I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
it's
like, launch windows are never ideal.
Yeah, that's fair. I will give you that. I'm just kind of like, you guys can wait the couple of months and get it next year. Like, it's funny. I was on a. I'm not going to name the toy purveyor, local toy purveyor Facebook page, and people were like looking for. Parents were giving out about the Xbox.
Oh, I saw that came up on
so
my
funny.
news feed, and I'm like,
So
why
funny.
is Darragh commenting on the? And it was the funniest thing, and it was really funny because I don't think you expected people who knew you to see it.
Oh no, I don't care.
Can we roll back a bit? What happened here?
I fully expect people to see my comments, which is why I'm like, I'm just going to troll. So
it was so funny. It was just so funny. I didn't know whether to say anything or not, but I saw it. It was hilarious.
Well, Lisa, you can tell the story because
which console was it? Was it the new Xbox or something? Or
it was the new Xbox or
PS5
or something like that.
I was minding my own business on the internet one day, and this post for Smiths comes up, and it was actually a sponsored post about like the new Xbox or PS5 or something, and it's nothing but parents complaining about trying to order a new XP5 or whatever, and complaining because the website kept crashing. And I'm just there scrolling, and they're like, oh, this is awful. This is a disgrace. My little blah, blah won't get this on Christmas Day now. You've ruined Christmas Day.
Karens everywhere.
Karens everywhere. And then there's just Darragh trolling all of them underneath, explaining how the internet works to them. And I'm just there like, and he's just, and you can't fault his logic, but it's just so unwanted by the Karens of the chat. It's hilarious.
Basically, they were upset that they DDoSed the website, and I'm like, you do understand this is what happens when thousands of people go to a website.
Yeah, like 100,000 people all click on the same website at the same time.
Like, it's going to happen, and then I was like, listen, Timmy can still play Fortnite on the PS4. You're fine.
Yeah,
it's just. But yeah, it's I don't understand because obviously I'm not a parent. Two people in this group are, so maybe you guys will know in time. But I'm just like,
but okay.
Three? Who has it? Oh, well, of humans, Lisa.
Are you going to get the Xbox 5 or whatever for your hamsters?
Exactly. That's the thing.
Does Kevin urge for Fortnite?
That's the thing. That's the real question. Oh, hold on. Does Kevin understand how to play Fortnite? Because I still don't. I still haven't got through the main menu.
I have like 3 schools on this, Darragh. Don't bring another species into this.
I need to know because every time I try to install it, I'm just stuck at the menu going, I don't get it.
You turned your PS Vita into a satellite and you can't do this.
Exactly. That's the problem. I don't understand it. Help me, guys.
Just don't have the patience to get through the lobby. That's
the lobby. It's sitting there. All it is just a lobby and then microtransactions.
Yeah, that's it. Dreamcast ROM hacks aren't trying to sell you Joker skins. That's the problem.
That's exactly what
literally
it is.
all I saw on the Fortnite screen was just skins for these things. I'm like, where's the game? But I just want to play the game, and then I got.
How do I get in here and shoot 12-year-olds? Pleplease tell me.
Exactly.
Do you ever see the?
I really feel like this is what people were like, what adults were like talking about Pokemon when I was a child. Where they're just like talking about the blatant consumerism of it all.
They're just like, the professor's telling me not to go into the long grass, and then the game ends, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Hey Tim, did you catch Pikachu? Are you
No, you have to get the gold edition to get Pikachu. You have to get the special Game Boy.
See, here's the thing. I think South Park did it the best with my favorite shoe. My favorite shoe. I have to say, a sad week this week because J-Con was supposed to be this week, guys.
Yeah. Heartbreaking.
Yeah. Sure. Look.
Yeah, can I just say to Lisa, you've really made yourself part of the family in a very short amount of time.
Absolutely.
You too, Kev. Like, it's like it blew my mind that J-Con was only a year ago. Like,
it feels so much longer.
Yeah,
and not just because the world ends.
It's the power of pandemics.
Yeah, everything's like really intensified because it's like we're gonna die. Let's be best friends.
Yeah, basically is.
I just can't believe that a year elapsed so quickly, but also slowly at the same time.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, don't dwell on that then. What are your memories of J-Con? And for the people listening at home, what is J-Con at all, in case you missed our appearance there?
Lisa, go for it.
Okay, so J-Con, basically, it's like, remember Airticon? It's kind of like the little con that filled the big Airticon filled hole in all the nerds of Ireland's hearts. So basically, it's a Japanese kind of more orientated towards anime, manga, Japan culture rather than Marvel, DC conventions. And it's on in Croke Park, and it was annually until this year when everything disappeared. And it's just fantastic because they just have so many fantastic panels. The cosplay is absolutely off the charts there. Like, everybody brings their A game to a
It's always way better. It's always way better.
Yeah. And just the artist alleys and the trade halls and just the diversity of the merchandise is always fantastic. I find at J-Con so much better than just like
the European Championship, like, for Dublin.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a big part of why the quality was so high.
Yeah. They do it on the no, so it was one day, so they do it at the end.
Yeah.
It's always really good. Like, one thing that I've always found, it's that, like, while DCC is good, it kind of gets overshadowed by some of the bigger professionals. But then at smaller conventions, you see like people who are kind of in that mid tier just doing mind blowing things.
Yeah, and the fact that like with certain conventions, a lot of them can feel very. Like you're meant to go shopping, and it's always the big I won't name no names, but it's always like the big franchise nerd companies that already have stores around Dublin, whereas with places like J-Con, it's the smaller nerd shops that get a bit more attention, which is nice, rather than just, oh look, 5 GameStop stalls.
Actually, that's one thing. GameStop weren't at DCC this year, which was weird. Well, not DC. Really? No one was at DC this year. Yeah, but the summer one, I was like, oh, GameStop are usually like everywhere, but they just weren't.
Yeah.
It was weird. Yeah.
Can we not to dovetail too far into the story? Did I hear that GameStop were having like a TikTok competition?
Yeah,
or something like that.
So so if anyone doesn't know, GameStop are just doing really weird things during this pandemic, and one thing they're doing is they're having a TikTok competition for their staff so they can get more hours to work.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's make retail worse, guys.
What a time to be alive, you guys.
That's like drop pants for food, old grey mare. She ain't what she used to be.
It is GameStop pulling out a 6-shooter. It's like, dance, monkey, dance.
Oh my god, I really hope someone who works there does a TikTok of the old grandma. She aims to get some hours out of it.
Yeah. They deserve all the hours they can get if they do it.
It's so dystopian though. It really is. It's like we're I don't know.
Like it again, but it's dystopian but sad.
For
like,
the
and yes, I'm not surprised of this coming from GameStop.
No.
Oh, they're horrific.
Like nothing about this shocks me from GameStop.
But GameStop, if you want to sponsor us, you totally
can. We love our capitalist corporate.
We can install the TikTok.
Raid Shadow Legends. Get 2 extra champions.
Get the Brave browser.
Brave too.
At least the Brave browser is good. They're okay.
The browser is good. The browser is great.
Oh man,
it's a browser bean. It looks like the browser.
Homer, there's no face on that bean.
Marge, you're nothing.
No, we don't, Mother. We love GameStop. Points.
Actually, funny story, true story, right? So GameStop have released a line of like special Star Wars figures. So like they're all based on video games. And the most recent, like one that I really want to have ordered is Darth Nihilus from KOTOR 2. And I'm like, oh, great. Okay, cool. So I ordered it like 3 or 4 months ago, and I forgot that it comes out in like 2 or 3 weeks. So I was like, oh, grand. And when I ordered it initially, they totally messed up my address. So I had to kind of go back in and open 7 tickets to get them to change the address, which was fun. GameStop support is horrific. And they eventually opened it up and it's there. So to be fair, like it's a smart move for GameStop to have stuff like that, because I'm sure it's heck not going to buy games off them. But so there we go. There's one thing they did right, I suppose, eventually.
Can I contradict that with one thing they did wrong?
Hold on, I think I'm on a laundry list here somewhere.
Well, Kev fetches that. My last experience of GameStop is the one in Dundee was having a closing down sale. And I thought, oh, right, I'll get a game for old time's sake. So I picked up Kingdom Hearts 3. And I was like, oh, half price, cool. And I handed it to your woman. Again, the last day of the shop being there.
Oh, did she ask for a card?
No. Worse than that, she goes, oh, that offer isn't on anymore. And she takes the sticker off. I was like, that isn't how...
Power.
Oh my god. It's like
that isn't how that isn't how stickers work.
No.
Any other shop in the world, you'd honor that.
Yeah, literally.
That's actually a violation of consumer rights. Like,
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like that's small claims court right there. Like, it's...
like I just I mean, I just wasn't bothered. I left. Like,
but I mean,
man. That's
even
petty. That's her last bit of power before her shop shuts.
Actually, another similar thing was went into a store and I was wearing the wrong kind of mask apparently, and I'm like, okay,
right,
I'm leaving. Here we go, Amazon, because that's what happened. So I just went in.
What mask was it? Was there like writing on it? Did it look like the Joker's face?
It just was a black mask, and I'm like, okay. What mask am I supposed to wear to go into the store? This is ridiculous.
Okay, now you double back. You come back with like a full plague doctor mask.
Just go back with everything covered. Like, okay,
stuff full of incense. Like, is this good?
You should have come back in one of those old timey scuba suits with a bellows.
I still, even though like it's been 9 months, few things have yet to top like the first week like COVID really hit Ireland. Yeah, there was the picture of your woman on Dublin bus with just a duct tape.
What?
Oh yeah.
Like this was like
I missed what you said. What
there was a picture of like just like a bucket on her head and then just like duct tape sealed around her coat.
Imagine a fishbowl made of Tupperware.
We had an old man come in with a plastic bag around his mouth instead of a mask.
That's
he'd like
probably
put
not
the
a good
handles
idea.
over his ears. And he'd tied the end of the bag at the front, and it was just going in and out like bellows. And I'm just like, will I just buy him a mask? Because that can't
he wasn't doing this for health things. He was just asphyxiating himself. That's
this is something you say for the boudoir.
He just played Manhunt way too much and was like, this is just how I deal with things now. Oh, man.
Did any of you see the ad? There was like this ad that was going around Twitter a lot where it was like basically like this like high-end kind of face mask thing where like basically it looks like a kind of backpack that you strap onto your shoulders, but it makes a dome over the front of your head. It has filters going out the back and everything. And it's just complete overkill but it's just one of those things where like it just looks like such incredible overkill when it comes to trying to keep yourself safe during a pandemic that anyone who saw you with it would just make fun of you instantly.
I'm trying to visualize it. And I don't know whether or not this is just me being incredibly on brand as an anime fan, but I'm only imagining them in the style of Bleach.
See, here's the thing, right? It's like you haven't gone like they're saying that the Mandalorian is like the perfect arbiter of like social distancing and all that kind of stuff because you wear a mask. He spends most of his time alone or cocooning with one other person or thing. Yeah. And
his social bubbles are tiny.
Social bubbles. He's fine. Like there's like 6 people on the show. So
but Darth Vader has a breathing thing and an isolation chamber.
See, that's true too. But I don't think we're at the point where they're cheap and affordable.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having like the buttons he has on his chest. Like maybe you could put an MP3 player in there or something.
That'd be cool. Or your phone, and it just like doubles as a.
You're right. You can just put your phone there. Yeah.
I think if we get to a point where everyone can afford a respirator, we're doing really well.
That's true. N95 masks were like 30 quid on Amazon, so that's where I got mine. Eventually, it only took 4 months to arrive, but it got there eventually. Totally missed the spike, but it got there eventually. Just in time.
That was at the times when no one was leaving their house. That's
yeah. It was just like this is completely pointless, but it arrived eventually, and I got my money back. So. That's a win. But okay, right, we have some crazy like headlines to get through this week, right? So Kev, I'm going to let you lead this, right? So what is this Japanese bear robot wolf thing.
I'm pulling back up the Guardian.
Also, as well,
I am citing sources here.
He is sorry, and there is one thing as well that was brought up in our group chat that I'm like, what is this? And then I saw a news story on it, so we're going to talk about that as well. It's like Hollywood's latest attempt to do Irish accents, and it made the news today. It's so bad, apparently. So
okay. Before we go to that absolute nightmare,
absolutely,
nightmare. So it was announced, or at least there was a headline in the Guardian today. I'm just simply going to read the headline as is. Of Japanese town deploys monster wolf robots to deter bears.
That's the most anime thing.
I was going to say coming to Netflix. Yeah. The makers of Castlevania.
It's kind of just that very stereotypical. Like, of course Japan did this. Why wouldn't they? But like,
to be fair,
it's literally like. It's grounded in a lot of fact because there are like rogue bears wandering Hokkaido. That's kind of a known thing. And it says like, there has been actual like almost fatal attacks for bears. So they need a deterrent. But their deterrent
is robots.
Their deterrent, and the thing is, right? So it's like it's a wolf, it's like a wolf robot with red flashing eyes. It looks like a little bit more high-tech version of those like €2 shop Halloween decorations. Like the motion sensor where they just kind of like flapping their arms and flashing lights and making spooky noises.
Oh my god, this was in The Simpsons.
This is basically an anime adaptation of when of the bear
with the reindeers.
The Simpsons.
Yeah. No, with the reindeer. Where
yes, the Japanese reindeer.
Yes, the Japanese Santa.
That's
what this is.
He's gift-giving man. He lives on the moon.
That's literally what this is.
That is literally the last episode. That's the last episode we haven't actually talked about since our sentence.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, we need to get back to that. Nerds know eventually. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Actually,
I've been on for 6 weeks, but I'm glad to know that we still haven't progressed further on season.
No, of course,
we keep meaning to, but then my internet blew up and everything went to hell. So.
As wild as the story starts, again, it's like if you actually look at the the video and the pictures thing, it just looks like a €2 shop UV like Halloween decoration. But it's deterring bears. Listen, I'm not saying it's not effective.
But you can reason with bears. You can't reason with robots,
Yeah.
Well, you can. It's just very difficult. Once you program for the 3 laws of robotics, you're fine.
Yeah. But hopefully Japan just realizes that it wasn't bears, it's actually immigrants. Even when it was the bears, it was
I let the bears pay the bear tax. I pay the homer tax. Homeowner tax.
So is there like an Attack on Titan connection here? How frequently do bears attack local populations?
A lot,
as frequently as bears probably would. I mean, like, okay, things that are bigger than other things tend to attack those smaller things. Bears, big.
But here's the thing: do bears like
Mr. Sparkle bigger?
Here's the thing: it's like Japan's been around a couple of 1,000 years, and they haven't figured out to stop the bears. Like, I don't know. I'm like, it's.
Look, Darragh, all I'll say is, if your response to a problem is build a robot for it, the problem's been around a while.
But see, that's the bit that I'm like, you guys didn't have a solution already that didn't involve robots? Okay. Like, I'm not saying robots don't work.
I'm going to say this is probably realistically an increasing issue, perhaps due to deforestation. And also waste and stuff like that, because it's the same in America, because bears come down from the mountains like in California because they're attracted by
in Florida too.
What if the bears want manga
and foxes
we just don't understand? Or they're like, I just want to watch the latest episode of my favorite anime and you're not being cool.
What if the bears just want to host talk shows?
Absolutely. Like Gentle Ben.
Gentle Ben.
Ben, no.
It's a damn shame because they're cuddly, vicious little guys.
They're not little.
I do want to
like 8 foot tall. They're like space marines.
I want to scritch.
That's fair. No, actually, when I was in. Sorry, go on, Brin.
There's a Brin subreddit called Murder Mittens where you can see cats with big claws and occasionally bears with their claws.
Well, look, I didn't realize bears were so big Because obviously, like, it's like when you go to America the first time, you're like, I have no reference for how big America is because you're from Ireland, and like Ireland's tiny, you can walk most places. But I was in the British Museum, not the British Museum, the Natural History Museum, whatever their like natural history museum thing. I think that's what it's called. I was there last year, and it's the place that has the whale, like in the hall, like the massive big whale. But they have like dodos, and I've never seen dodos before, and I'm like, oh, there it is.
Oh yeah, no, they are like 3'6". They are bigger than you think.
But they actually just have them there, like, and they're like, oh, there you go.
That's why they're extinct, because they're there.
Well, they're extinct because they ate them and shot them all. Yeah. But there's a few that are still kind of just there preserved, right? So they're like, oh, you guys probably deserved it. Because apparently they taste really good. But anyway,
imagine dodo tasted too good.
Poor, tiny, helpless little fletchling birds who were killed by the evil men, you know?
Imagine dodo pizza, though. Imagine that. That'd be cool. Anyway,
get on board with that.
No, dodos are more like that thing from, ever see the Pixar short From the Birds, where there's a big purpley bird hanging out with a load of pigeons.
That's kind of what it's like. It's just
it's just like a real stubby ostrich.
Actually, you know what it's like, right? It's so the original Lewis Carroll. Not to go off on a tangent, we've already done it. I will pull it back. But
God forbid a tangent.
Right, but the Lewis Carroll pictures from Alice in Wonderland are pretty much spot on. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait a minute. This is actually like exactly what it was drawn to be like, and my mind was blown. Anyway, so in the same hall as that, right, they have a bear, and this thing is massive, and I'm like, holy cow, that's really scary. So yeah, you know what? I understand building robots for that.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, all right. But here's the thing: if I was there in a bear attack, I'm like, here's some manga, and then I'd run away.
Yeah, let's admire, like, South Park, the Americans go, it's coming right for us, and for Japan it's like, get the mechs.
The mechs. There's a bit of like escalation there, all right, but I don't know, they did just build a full-size Gundam as well that moves.
Yeah, for the bears.
I don't think they're related.
By a bear.
I don't think they're related. But
how do you know them?
I don't know it, but I think it's eventually when Godzilla shows up. And
Amos like, by the way, I think me and Brin have some insider info that maybe you don't.
Well, see, I'm just like, it's 2020, and I'm like, listen, they did kind of say a lot about Godzilla, and they're like, listen, we warned you, so it wasn't just a movie. It's coming. But they can't say that.
Training manual.
It was exactly, it's like, here's why we built this. But anyway,
look, I mean, like, always, like having Gundams that fight against bears is all we need to make this sad dystopia turn into a bit more of a fun dystopia. So
I mean, it's a bit close to Neon Genesis Evangelion for me. Like, it's that we're getting too close to that to begin with.
I think we all need just a little bit more psychosexual thriller in our lives.
Yeah,
there's a distinct lack of nuclear. Well, Fukushima is there, but it's there's a distinct lack of that in this story. So
yeah, you're right, Darragh. Fukushima sure is there.
Yeah, it is.
I agree. Nuclear power or robot wolves. That's what we need.
This could all happen. This could all be
human
a thing.
Brains transplanted into them, because why not?
It's pronounced nuclear.
Okay, right. So I have a question before we get into the horribleness of what we're going to talk about. Pride and Prejudice and Austin Arenas. What is this? Who wrote this?
This was just me fishing, like when we were kind of fishing for topics. The most out of left field thing I've done all week was sat down and watched the entirety of the 1995 Pride and Prejudice BBC series. The one with Colin Firth.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And that's the thing. I have never had any sort of exposure to like anything Jane Austen or anything Bronte. Just not really my wheelhouse. Sat down. Thoroughly enjoyable.
It's amazing.
It is 6 hours of just posh people just full on sassing each other.
Well, I mean, if you read Pride and Prejudice, like, it reads like a sitcom, like a comedy. It's just loads of 5 or 6 little funny shorts that just eventually, when you compress it into a series, has a narrative. But they're just, it's just a comedy, like,
So that's the thing. I think you're probably you and Lisa probably are like the experts here, because again, this is an entirely outsider looking in. I think I just kind of expected melodrama with a romance plot.
It kind of depends. Like the same with Charles Dickens as well. Like some of them are quite intense, but then other ones are like just comedies, and you're watching it going, but I thought Charles Dickens was just miserable. And there's Sally Fields running around yelling about donkeys.
That's just it. And actually, it's like Sherlock Holmes is another one like that, where it's because we've seen so many films and TV shows where that's the tone. You assume the books are that way too, but the books usually like are light and have jokes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Sense and Sensibility would be heavier than Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean they're all Downton Abbey, light coming in the windows. Gosh, to be terrible, that kind of thing, you know.
Well, I suppose it's kind of like any media that like takes on a life of its own, where it's like it's given established tones. Like I think the best thing to do is like Batman. Everybody assumes Batman's one specific way, and then when it changed, it's not. So yeah, that's.
That's a really good example. Yeah,
this is absolutely one of our podcasts because Darragh managed to veer a talk about Pride and Prejudice.
I didn't bring Batman.
Absolutely.
You haven't brought Batman in ages. Come on, guys.
But yeah, like it's just, I know than just kind of like to say I actually do thoroughly recommend it. A lot more like I like a lot more feminist forward as well. Like comparatively, I suppose, for kind of what
it was written by the Brontes. Like
this is Austen.
Oh, Austen, sorry, but the Brontes are the same.
But the Austen and Bronte very progressive, like especially for their time. Like I think but me and my girlfriend just could not stop laughing. I think it's at the end, like the first episode where Mr. Darcy professes his love to Elizabeth out of nowhere, and she just spends about 5 straight verses just smacking him down in every conceivable ways, like just like tearing him apart. It's wonderful. And then like just there's like when a scandal, not to spoil parts of Pride and Prejudice, but like when there's a scandal.
It's a several 100-year-old book, Kev. I think the spoiler ship has sailed.
€3.50 and Eason's near you.
Well, like,
or you could just
download it. Only.
It's in the public domain. I think spoiler warning is no longer required.
when like the youngest daughter runs off with the soldier and doesn't marry him, the mother is just so distraught and so like 110% beyond extra that she just lies in her room in her pajamas and screams
But see, I think
I don't know why, but based off of that performance, Kev, all I can imagine is Michael Palin doing that.
It's not terribly far off.
I've watched way too much Monty Python recently, so that might be affecting it.
I think a lot of the way that's written, it's so ridiculous that one thing that's weird, right, with history in general is like you forget that people are people. And then once you kind of like, even it happens all the time. Like one of the great things about doing classics in general is it breaks down that wall where you're like, oh, you weren't all, the Romans weren't all sitting there in troves and things. They were just literally the same, just without iPhones. So then you find really funny things like little jokes or whatever they write, or just really petty things. You're like, wow, this is Twitter. This is Twitter, like, and it's kind of funny.
Was drawing dicks on this wall for thousands of years.
Oh, well, they invented that. I think like one of the things like the stuff that gets preserved is all like the real high class stuff, and then when you drop down you're like, wait, they were just normal. So with this kind of stuff, I think a lot of it was probably just them making fun of how ridiculous it can be, and that kind of got preserved in the narrative. And then when we find later on, we're like, oh, okay, it's like the equivalent of someone finding like the worst Netflix show you can find that takes stuff ridiculous based in modern time and being like, oh no, this is what it was like. That's kind of what it's like, the most base Netflix show that takes stuff off to like pick.
It would be like someone judging 1990s America on Friends.
Literally, that's exactly where I was going. Yeah, that's exactly like that would be the equivalent of it, where it's like, a lot of this is probably true, but it's all amped up for comedy, and that's actually there's no modern comparative to Friends. Actually, Big Bang Theory would probably be close to it. Judging unfortunately, that would kind of be the same thing. But it's fun. Like I think when you start, a lot of stuff helps when you're when they colorize film. I find lately where you're like, oh, cool, from World War One or wherever. It's like, oh, they were just.
I was about to say that if you've seen They Shall Not Grow Old, where they colorized the World War One footage. That was bizarre to look at. Like. Because you think again, like the kind of pop culture, you think World War One, grey, mud, and obviously I'm not saying it wasn't miserable, but you look at this footage and they're like, even in those circumstances, there's still people being people. They're still having a laugh and all that kind of stuff, like, and just keeping each other's spirits up. Like,
but that's it. Like, people are just people, and I think like one of the hardest things to kind of understand that is putting yourself in that. And I think the more and more that gets like further away from things, the more kind of crazy it is. Which is why when you discover like a Roman like diary or like written on the wall or something like that, and they're just talking about it, you're like, oh wow, you're just literally like us. You know, it's just there's that kind of divide. You know, it's crazy. It's what I think Monty Python's really kind of figured that out as well, where it's like, you know, let's spin it this way. But
speaking of which, all the Monty Python films are on Netflix now.
Oh yeah,
there's also a great docu-series on the making of Python, and it's so worth watching because like basically it's the living members of Python remembering all their time. So they talk about every there's specific episodes for each film they made, and then there's like specific ones for like the different series of Flying Circus they made, and it's so good, so good. And like I kind of felt really bad for John Cleese talking about like, because like basically like there's the way Python was written was like that everyone was like in different teams, and John Cleese and Graham Chapman wrote together. If you know anything about Graham Chapman, you can immediately sympathize with how horrible that would have been as an experience for John Cleese to deal with, because Graham wasn't sober often.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Why he's not around anymore.
Well, there's a reason why he's the only one who's dead. You know.
No, there was Terry Jones as well died.
Yeah, but
Graham, but he died like. Yeah. He died at an actual age. Yeah. You know, it's like where you
just want to clear that up just so that there isn't any miscommunication there. There is another dead one.
Fair. But like
one was considerably more recent.
No, Actually, one thing about Netflix, I will have to throw a recommendation now for Queen's Gambit.
I started watching that before we recorded, and it is very, very good.
It's excellent. We've been watching, because we're staying at my cousin's now. We've been watching it with Stevie's aunt, and it's brilliant. Like, I'm the only one of the three of us who knows how to play chess, and it's just hypnotic to watch the way they present it.
But it's weird, Ken. Like, it's like completely unrelated. I got super into chess there again recently, and my friend recommended it to me. I'm like, oh, great. But the weird thing about it is as well, like, even if you like, they present it in such an accessible way where even if you don't play chess, you're still able to like enjoy it, because it's just like the way they shot it.
You know, I'll throw out a comparison here, because it is hitting me in the exact, like, in a very similar way that a show I just got about halfway through watching. It was hitting me when me and Louise started watching Haikyuu, the volleyball anime. It's a sports anime. What I'm saying is the Queen's Gambit is a sports anime.
Kind of.
Like, kind of. It's that sort of thing. It's making something that you really would like, that you probably wouldn't find very enjoyable, but it's grounding the characters and introducing it with so much drama and making it very simple to understand, all while wrapping it in an engaging plot.
Yeah, and like a sport.
Sorry. Like a week ago, I wouldn't have cared about volleyball. Now I care very deeply about volleyball. I also got the same thing from the Last Dance, the Boston, Chicago Bulls documentary that they released a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
Glow is good too, actually, for that. If you're not a wrestling fan and you want to kind of get into it, Glow kind of has the same kind of appeal.
Sadly, Glow got cancelled though.
It did, but so actually, I watched The Exorcist 2 recently because I'm trying to work through Amazon Prime before I get Shudder. And I know I'm digging through so much slop, but some good things on Amazon Prime. Darknet's quite good. It's like discount Black Mirror, like really discount, like bargain bin Black Mirror. I would watch it still. It's quite good. But The Exorcist 1 and 2 are there, the shows. Which is cancelled. I will have a warning and say The Exorcist TV show is probably the best TV show you'll ever see, that you'll never get a finale to. So it's worse than Firefly, because we got a finale to that. But yeah, it's annoying because it wraps up and then there's this big whole thing that they're building towards that's never going to be picked up again. So it's annoying, but you know, you'll marathon it in a day because it's so engaging.
Actually, do you want to know a really good Netflix recommendation? Has anybody watched His House yet? It has one of the Doctor Who's in it.
Oh, you have my attention.
I don't know his name, but he was the Doctor Who, I think, after Peter Capaldi, but before the girl.
Matt Smith?
Yeah, he's in it. So basically, it's a
What's
horror
it called?
movie.
His House.
His House. It's an English horror movie. It's an indie horror from this year. It's just been released.
Yeah,
it's huge at the minute. It's about these Sudanese refugees who get asylum granted to them in England, and the house they're given is haunted, but they're also being like racialized against. So you're there trying to work out, is the war in Sudan, being a refugee the scary thing, is living in a haunted house the scary thing, is being pursued by racists and bureaucracy the scary thing. And it's actually just really interesting to see as well. And it just, no other way to say it, but it's nice to see black people with black people problems in a show on Netflix where you're like, this is such a different, fresh perspective about something like refugees and stuff that's just such a real problem and happens every day. Do you know what I mean? I mean that in the like, that came out so wrong, but it's just such, and it's such a good horror. Like, it's just such a fantastic horror movie. So, and it has Matt Smith in it, so I would recommend it.
Excellent. I've been noticing he's been doing a lot of little indie things. Like, I think he did one with Keira Knightley for Amazon Prime recently.
It's because he keeps getting screwed out of heavy movies, and
every franchise he gets put on dies like overnight.
No, he wasn't even like he was cast, shot stuff for Star Wars, and they immediately cut him out. It's like, come on, dude.
Oh. Terminator, same thing.
He shaves his head for Terminator.
I will say, like, not bad. He has been going ham on just like, I think after Doctor Who, he definitely wanted to get away from like any sort of a typecasting. I remember the first headline I heard about him after his Doctor Who stint was that he was leading a Broadway version of American Psycho.
Oh wow!
Oh, that was supposed to be great.
Oh wow!
And that's just like, okay, yeah, you've broken out of that mold, I guess.
The first thing I heard of...
Sorry, King Kong.
No. Sorry, the first thing I heard him in was that, who's that actor who was everywhere, who was in Drive for a while?
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, he was in the Ryan Gosling thing that got booed out of Cannes. I felt so bad for him because that was his first thing out of Doctor Who. And he like shaved his head for that too and all that kind of stuff.
Oh man, he needs to stop shaving his head.
That's clearly the problem
the jinx, here. Like.
So I suppose speaking of people that definitely need better agents getting them better gigs, let's talk about this Irish movie.
Okay, hold on, Colin. Can I just put a thing in that? This isn't an Irish movie. This is an American movie.
I could not remember I don't know.
This is an IOROISH movie.
Yeah, Irish. Listen. Now I saw some references to it, and I'm like, oh, this is probably something got to do with the election or whatever. I don't know. So I'm just like, I just lost interest. But then then you guys were talking about, I'm like, what is that? And then it was on the news, and I'm like, what? Why is this on the news? And they're like, yeah. So some lad from entertainment.ie was like, oh, they've done it again. And it's like, so basically, it seems like every 15 years, Americans they flirt with this perception that Ireland isn't like it is. And they come out with a bunch of actors doing horrible Irish accents, don't even kind of sound loud. Actually, last time they did it was P.S. I Love You. I think that was the last.
Oh yeah. No. The last one was Leap Year, which is it's fascinating. Can I just go on a tangent, please?
Oh, absolutely,
sure. Have any of you seen it?
No.
I saw bits of it by accident one time.
I'm gonna do a quick
Google her.
It's Amy Adams and someone.
Oh, I'm in. Amy Adams?
Yeah. And it's basically, it's a comedy that's about her intending to propose to her boyfriend on the leap year in Ireland because apparently it gives you good luck. Something I'd never heard of anyway.
It's going to be terrible.
So she tries to go to Ireland and ends up in Wales by accident, somehow gets a boat from Wales to Ireland and ends up miraculously on the other side of it geographically, like somewhere near Roscommon or somewhere like that. And then, like, if you have even a passing knowledge of Irish geography, like all the places they go, she like zips down to Cork and then up and then down and then she's Galway and then this and then she's at the cliffs of Moher again, which is north, but then she's like, and it's like, it's one of those films where Americans think Ireland is a field with a gate.
Well, to be fair,
some cows, and Catholics who don't like people who aren't married.
They're not wrong, but we resent it.
To be fair, a lot of that is true. But like, also Adam Scott's in this, Brin.
Yeah.
Which is like, the cast is quite good, so I'd actually probably enjoy this a great deal.
I almost feel embarrassed for Emily Blunt. because she is hamming it to a bit.
See, Emily Blunt is one of those actors where I'm like, you're really good. Why are you here? You know?
Yeah, but let's talk about Jamie Dornan is Irish though. Like you'd think he I don't know how much pull he has on a film set, but you think like they'd look to him for guidance. Like I don't know what his excuse is.
You'd hope so, but obviously
my theory on this. I know we haven't gotten into the why everyone's freaking out about this, but my theory about this is
that. Sorry, 1 second before you go. The movie's called Wild Mountain Thyme. So just so people know.
Doesn't that just say it all? Yeah. Christopher Walken has the most convincing Irish accent, which is a red flag to begin with.
Yeah. That's not a sentence that instills confidence.
No.
As a movie goer.
I have a feeling that this is one that sat on a shelf for a year or two. Like maybe it got made just after 50 Shades. And now that there's no films having made in the last year, they're like, oh, try it. Because it
Hold
doesn't
on a second. Emily Blunt has a home in West Cork.
Yeah.
What? She has no excuse.
She can do the accent.
She has no excuse. I'm sorry. It's like, I'm sorry. Like, I have no excuse.
Yeah. But how much time do you reckon she spends in that home, Darragh?
Enough to know that what she's doing isn't an Irish accent.
No, I
would think so, but obviously not.
I did pull down a bit of a Twitter rabbit hole on it. And apparently, because it's based on, I don't know if it's the same name.
It's a play on the same name. Yeah,
it is to play the same name.
Yeah,
because apparently it is like performances of the play are very amped up to ridiculous degrees. Still very much like Irish. So there could be a bit of playing around with that. Doesn't make it good.
Yeah, but like you could the Abbey did like a few years ago did a production like that called Aaron a Pogue where they made it so big that like when an Irish person jumped, they literally jumped 5 feet in the air and like someone had a sheep puppet under their arm. You can make the big thing funny on purpose. I don't think that's what this is.
Yeah, I don't think that's what this is either. I think this is an earnest approach to this source material and they're completely just missing the mark again.
I am in fact doing research on the fly here and I did look up the director, John Patrick Shanley, American.
Oh, of course,
you don't say.
Of course,
he's probably a quarter Irish
from the
O'Mahony
Chanleys
side.
I have never heard of any of his stuff. His highest rated one is Doubt, a movie with with
Meryl Streep and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah,
that was okay.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
One thing that just popped into my head is: do you think this is that this director might have fallen into the same trap the director from Troll 2 did, where he thought he knew more about how Irish people behave than Irish people. Which is it's like for context, like in Troll 2, it was an Italian director who thought he knew how Americans behaved better than the American actors that were on set.
Here's the thing though, right? Oh, he wrote Alive. Oh man, he actually wrote some decent movies here. Anyway, no, look, what I think happened is it's this because Irish English and Americans are a lot easier to kind of get a read on because we consume so much more of the culture and so much of the culture's out there. With Irish, it's like there's so much assumed and we're so similar to both English and Americans, but with our own distinct thing that's really hard to miss and it's rooted in subtlety. And no one gets that except for Irish people. You know, the closest, and even Irish media, look at Fair City, case in point. You know what actually does get it really well, and I was shocked by? Red Rock. Red Rock is the most real show I've ever seen that depicts Ireland as it is.
Oh yeah, that's a surprisingly good show by TV3. It's really they work really hard on that.
I couldn't believe it. I was watching it and I was I don't like sitcoms or soaps. I was invested. I sat down and watched 5 episodes in a row. I was like, this is unbelievable. Yeah. It's accurate. And it's because all the subtlety is there, you know.
But you raise a good point, Darragh, because there is. I mean, I know we don't put out things as much as like America or the UK, but there has been a decent amount of good Irish film and TV content in the past few years. You've got comedies, you've got Derry Girls, films, you've got all the Letty Abrahamson things. I do
find that a lot of our comedy, like a lot of stuff that comes from very Irish places, has been co-opted by the BBC.
I agree. Yeah.
Yes, but all I'm saying is though, you can Google stuff filmed and made in Ireland by Irish people. This either an
Okay, and I think we lost your mic.
Understanding.
Oh. King got so excited, I think he plugged his mic out.
I think he did, yeah.
Sorry, my mic's a bit dodgy at the moment.
No worries, we got you.
We got you.
And he's gone again.
It just astounds me that like with like there's a lot of Irish talent out there that either is going to like kind of very independent sources or just like going to the BBC and British Broadcasting to actually get their stuff out. So it is astonishing how little RTE manages to actually produce for being.
Here's the thing, right? RTE has this ridiculous budget, and we all know where it goes. I was watching Red Rock, which has with half the budget. And literally, and they're able to produce that, and you're like, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for how poor RTE is.
Abrahamson has tried to, what was his big hit? Normal People. I think RTE passed on that, didn't they?
They did again, they do for every good thing that happens, they pass on it.
But even before that happened, he said that RTE have a very, what is it called? You knock on our door approach. They hope big established talent just comes to them as opposed to the Channel 4 model where they foster new talent, and that's where something like Dairy Girls comes from,
I'm Father Ted.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Classic example.
Yeah, because the guys from Father Ted, they didn't even go to RTE because they were just well, what's the point?
The saddest, actually, I've got a recent RTE story that's kind of personal. The saddest thing I have is I won't name them, but a friend of mine was working on a comedy show, being potentially a pilot for an RTE show to go out on RTE, and they said they did the pilot and it went really well, and an insider told them it's either going to be this show or something they're giving to an influencer. And as soon as he said that, it's like, this is never going to get made.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's the attitude, they're chasing the trends, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Here's the thing, another case in point, right? It took them until now to use Skype.
Yep.
Skype, which is dead. It's dead technology. And it's just millions and millions and millions of euros just been thrown at them every year, and they can't produce one good thing.
And even a different web player.
But that's and it's just one of those things where it's really sad, and I don't think that the trend is going to be booked. But maybe if. Well, it's kind of hard because, what is the biggest representation of an Irish person to an American audience? Who is it? That's not.
Can I say something nice about RTE just to kind of even the ship a bit?
No.
Please.
Okay, go on. Okay, go on.
They've been really doing well with their children's content in the past 2 years. The Dens come back. Blast from the Past this week that went out. That was really good. There was one about scientist puppets that went out last year. That was really good too. So whoever's running the children's kind of department they're doing a good job, and they do a lot of outreach programs for people in that field as well. Just to be fair,
and Brin, take notes because you have all of the RTE children's den shows ahead of you. Get ready for Peppa Pig and Lifeboat Luke, babe.
Yeah. Oh, my kid's going to be put on a Plex server and
Plex server
hooked up to Linux now.
And away you go.
It's going to just be Plex, Batman the Animated Series, Spider-Man.
At least we got that. At least we got that.
There will be no pork.
Yeah. Has he said I am a knight yet? No. Put him back in.
Put him back in. He's not doing that.
It's just man.
Guys.
As much as you can be positive about RT, at the same time, they basically said they basically took the 18 to 35 demographic about 10, 15 years ago and told them to look elsewhere. And then we did.
And that's what happened.
So,
you know what they've done? They've managed to cultivate a very strong independent market in this country.
Yep. But here's the thing. The thing about the independent market is it's independent.
Yeah.
And most Americans, no matter how much hipsters they are, they're only going to look so far, and that's the truth of it. It's like the whole
hipsters in America want to look at Korea and Japan. They're not looking.
But dude,
they're not looking this way.
The best way I can put it, it's like the music scene in Ireland is the same, the theater scene is the same, the author, anything creative. It's like Ireland is just too small, and that's the way it is.
I don't know if I agree though. At once upon a time, he had a really good comedy lineup. Yeah, like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and then that was
and then
it.
they changed commissioner, and because he didn't make those shows, he axed them all.
Yeah, but like it doesn't take a lot to point a camera at a comedian or give them like a Blizzard of Odd type TV show. It's not hard.
It takes belief and it takes backing, and neither of those things are come from Ireland.
And then anyone that kind of gets above a certain like pay grade and is like, okay, I'm doing well. Yeah, time to get in the boat across to England.
Exactly. Matter was like Darragh Brin was happy to come back and work with the RT because he had for many years.
Yeah,
and as soon as the commissioner didn't feel like he was worth the money he stayed in the UK.
Yep, and that's what happens. It's like anyone of note works for BBC.
That's how we lost Graham Norton. He's English now.
And I think it's no longer Irish. It speaks absolute volumes when the BBC are more desirable of a broadcaster to work for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the RT are like, oh, why are we struggling to find viewers? Because you produce garbage, and there's nothing good. So it's like the best thing to watch on RT is the occasional movie. Like I watched Gone Girl yesterday, and I couldn't believe it was on RT. I was in shock, and I'm like, oh wow, this is actually pretty good job, guys.
Occasionally they make a good doc, but that's about it.
I like The Angelus.
Who else did X-rated and rent a good DVD?
Yeah, I don't know. To be fair, I will have to say, and that's a topic for another day, maybe the nostalgia of going to a video store. Because we have reached. I know. I'm going to leave it there. Next week, maybe we'll pick it up. We've reached the end of the show, guys. This flew in. This was really quick.
Yeah, this is great.
God, we didn't even get to the plot of the Irish movie.
There is no plot. It's terrible.
I watched it 3 times to prep for this, and I was so distracted every time that I couldn't absorb it.
That's fair. That's pretty much what your man for entertainment.ie said as well. So he just said I couldn't take any of it seriously. It's like, I don't think anyone can.
For everyone listening to this now, if you're curious about what the film is, all you really need to know is as bad as the Irish accents are, it's still not going to be as entertaining to watch as watching Fatal Deviation again. So go watch Fatal Deviation on YouTube because it's good fun seeing Mikey Graham in the 90s and trim and terrible martial arts. Terrible.
There's Rawhead Red, whatever that movie. That's
Rawhead Rex.
Yeah, Rawhead Rex. Yeah, that actually is more of an Irish movie than anything else.
That's true. That was in Ireland. And shout out to the Phil Arms and Hog guys as well, who essentially made this trailer back in 2015, beat for beat. Which is the most damning thing you can say about the originality of this movie, at least as far as the trailer goes.
Absolutely. Guys, is there anything you want to plug before we wrap up today?
Will I go?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, I'm still with Geek Ireland, and I'm now, because I just hate free time apparently, I am now reviewing both Star Trek Discovery and The Mandalorian on a weekly basis. So if you're looking for some feedback on those shows, give the reviews a read, and thank you very much in advance for that.
Okay, Brin?
So the next episode of Tech Takeover is still in the works because surprisingly having a kid is tiring. So
wait till they start walking.
Oh no, I'm terrified of crawling. Walking is just a nightmare waiting to happen.
Does your house have
hamster ball? Is what I'm thinking.
Does your house have stairs?
Yeah. Those have stairs. Those have stairs. Yeah, which is why I'm thinking hamster ball.
Yes.
I think someone on this panel can hook you up.
I'll custom make you a baby-sized hamster ball.
Throw in a hamster with it.
No,
so basically
leave my son alone.
So what you're saying, Brin, is watch the feed. It will be announced when it happens.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Kev, what would you like to plug?
Our newest episode of Anime Cross Course went up there the other week.
Nozaki-kun.
It was a hilarious episode on Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun. Very, very fun. Had a blast. And you can also find me over on Twitch every Tuesday evening on my friend Connor Rain's Twitch channel, where I run a D&D game, which we have now named the campaign The Odyssey of This Bish.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
I'm so glad this went out at 5 o'clock, so you could say that.
And hey, BISH, it's fine.
Yeah.
To clarify.
And Lisa?
Yeah, so the full back catalogue of Straight Outta Canto podcast radio show episodes is up on the Nerd to Know Media site. There's also the Straight Outta Canto blog over on blogger.com, where I do all my extremity horror, Asian cult cinema, weird deviant reviews. I also write for the Uray, which is an international Japanese J-horror resort site, and I'm also back working for Christmas FM this year. So
she's busier than all of us, guys. She really does put us all to shame.
Hey Lisa, aren't you supposed to be like doing literally everything else right now?
Yeah.
Well,
there's also the Straight Outta Canto book that will be out in time for Christmas, I swear.
Yes.
Book?
And I'm writing the forward for it.
You are.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Now, you guys, if you haven't already, go over to Nerd to Know Media, get all our content there. Web design coming up soon, all that good stuff. Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. We'll be back next week because my internet works. So we'll see you later, guys.
All hail the nerd.
Bye.